Welcome to a new guide on this channel, and on this occasion we need to talk about the DIGITAKT sampling. This is not a review, it's a deep dive about the sampling engine. Everything on this guide is in chapters, so if you look at the description or the timeline, you can jump to a section or skip the ones you don't want. If you like this, please like and subscribe, and if you have the money and you want to buy me a coffee, you can go to the links at the description. Alright, so let's begin with the sampling. So to sample, you need to go to the menu right here. You press this button and it's going to take you there. Now, right there below, you have a bunch of options and they are all relevant. Now, the most important option first that you need to control first is going to be this one, the source, the SRC. This one will decide what you want to sample. And you can sample three different things. You can sample the that comes out from the device, for example, the kick, snare, and whatever, you're playing back. You can do that. You can sample whatever you're going in through the input jacks, or you can use USB. So this encoder is going to be the source. If I go all the way to the left, you can decide to listen to the in of the left, then the right. You can listen both at the same time. Or if you go to this one, it's going to say main. So main means this device, the main out of this device. And then again, you get the left, the right, and the combination. And then at the same time, then we move forward, you have the USB, same left, it's going to be right, and then plus. And then if we keep going, after the USB, it's going to say track 1, track 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can decide only to listen and then sample the individual tracks that you're going to be playing back. So I'm going to try to record or sample with all the different inputs that you have available. Now on this one, to learn how to control this, I'm going to be starting with the main out of this unit, which is going to be main L and right, or you can choose the L or the right. It's completely up to you. On this unit, you can sample up to 33 seconds, and it says right there at the top 33. But you can change it with the length right here. Now, when it says max, it means that it's going to record the 33 seconds. But if you go down, you can divide it into steps. So this will divide the whatever tempo that you're using and just record 16 steps of, again, whatever tempo that you're using. We're going to be using it in a minute. Now, in this case, I'm going to go to max. We're going to do an example. Now, then the next most important option is going to be the threshold. Now, this one, it's going to listen to the ins or the outs or whatever it is that you're trying to record. And right here at the top is going to, notice that we have the indication of how the loudness of what we are trying to sample. Well, the threshold, it decides when the unit starts recording when you arm it. If the threshold is all the way down, it's going to start recording instantly. Now, this is very useful. For example, let's say that you're recording a guitar. I'm just giving you an example. You go through the cables right here at the top, you record your guitar, maybe through a helix or something like that, and you have a little bit of noise, right? It's a guitar amp. It has noise. So if the threshold is all the way down, it's going to start recording as soon as it is picking up the noise. So it's wise to move the threshold and only start recording when the level exceeds that line that we have right there. As soon as the loudness goes over that line, that threshold is going to start recording. For example, if I go all the way up and I arm it and I play something, notice that the sound never goes over the threshold that it's all the way up. So it will never start recording. So this is, again, very useful when you record, with inputs and everything else. Okay, so right here I have a dumb sequence, just something very simple. So we're going to try to sample whatever it is that we are doing right here. Now we have a few ways of sampling. I'm going to go to the sampling menu. If the max is all the way up, it means that it will record 33 seconds. So it will, record that regardless of whatever it is that we are doing right here. Now, if you do function and then sample, it will start recording. And I'm going to do function and then this. And notice that it's just recording, but I'm not playing anything. As soon as I play it, it's going to start recording. It's going to record whatever that comes out, but the recording started way before this. Because the function in the sampling is the manual recording. So to stop it, you can do yes, and it's going to normalize whatever is that it recorded, and then it's just, going to show you right here. Now, if you want to discard whatever you recorded, then function and no, and it says right there, function and no discard. I'm going to say function no, and it's going to throw away whatever you recorded so you can start over again. So remember, function and then sampling is going to be like the manual rec But you have other option now. The other option is going to be to arm. And it says right there, press yes to arm. And this is where when we are right here in this menu, we have a different way of doing this. I'm going to say yes. And it says armed. So what we need to do, we need to start playing something back. The level will exceed the threshold and it will start recording. So as soon as I play it, it will start recording. There you go. This is a much better way to record sample because it's just, right in the pocket. All right. So again, if you want to stop it, you just press yes, it's going to normalize. And then we have a bunch of options. We're going to discuss how to use this, all these functions we have right here. But right from the start, maybe you want to hear or listen what you recorded. So you can go to function and then say yes, and it will start playing back the sample that you recorded. Right? And then if you do the same thing again, you could audition it. So I'm going to do function and then I'm going to say no. And I'm going to start recording again. I'm going to say yes. And if I press play, it's just going to start recording. I'm going to press stop. Notice that it's still recording, it's still going. And this is because the time is going to be 33 seconds. It's going to stop when it reaches to 33. Now, this is something that we can fix because it might be a problem. I'm going to say function and then no to disregard the sample. And right here, we need to take care of the length, the R length, which is going to be the length. Notice it says max. So right here, if I go all the way down, it says 16 steps, 8 steps, 4 steps, 2 steps. So what we can do, we can decide the length of this. If I say 16 steps, it's going to record only 16 steps. And notice right there at the top, it gives you the time. So if the time is 2 seconds for 16 steps, I'm going to be changing this. And just to show you how this works, I'm going to be making it slower. So now it will take more time because the track's slower. Remember, it was like 2 seconds, so now it's 240. So this will, prepare the sampling to record 16 steps of whatever BPM you have right here. Still, I'm going to go back and I'm going to keep it to 120 because it's just, way too slow. So I'm going to get out and I'm going to go back to the sampling. So now if I arm it, I'm going to say yes, it's going to record 16 steps and then get out of it, normalize it, and there we go. We have the sample. It's super simple. Okay, so I'm going to say function and then say no and start over. Now, you don't need to be on this screen to start sampling. I'm going to get out of this. But notice that we have nothing and we are like starting over and we have 16 steps. Okay, I'm going to get out. Now, when you do function and you do sampling, remember what happens is the manual recording. If I do it on this screen, it will do it. I'm going to do function and then sampling. And notice it's red and then it's, goes to green. This is because it's done sampling. The thing is that we recorded 16 steps of nothingness, right? Because I was not playing it. So if I do function and do no, let's say that, I try to do it live, I'm going to be playing it and I want to start the manual recording. I'm going to do function no, it's recording 16 steps, normalizing, and then we have the sample right there, right? So this is one way of doing this. I'm going to say function no and just, start again. And what I want to do from the other menu, I want to do the arm recording. I don't know if that's the right name, arm recording, maybe not. So still, I want to arm it and have the sampling ready. So when I fire this, it's going to start recording. So we can do this. Now, the way is a little bit different. On the other one, we just say yes. But right here, we need to do sampling, hold it, and then I'm going to say yes. And now notice that this is yellow. This means it's awaiting for you to record something. And if the sound levels exceeds the threshold, it will start recording. I'm going to do it in 3, 2, 1, recording, it's done, it's going to normalize. Cool. If I stop it, this one, and I go to the sampling, we can audition what we just recorded. Now, one more thing before we move on to the next thing. When we do function yes to audition, it's going to stop playing back when the clip ends. But you can press this button, the left, and it's going to be enabling loop. So now if you do function and yes, it's going to loop it, right? So, nice little details. Now, the thing is that we need to learn how to use this screen and how to, save the different samples and, how everything works right here. So let's, talk about that. Right, so since now we know how to sample, we need to talk about the second screen. So I have nothing right here, I have the sequence. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be going to the sampling. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to do play. It's going to sample for 16 steps and then normalize it. And there we go. We have everything. So when we do function yes, can audition. whatever we sampled, that's good. Now we have a bunch of options right here. You can do function yes to audition. If you do function no, it's gonna remove it, just throw it away. So how does this work when you're ready to save the sample? So you can say no to close it. This will not discard the sample. If you go back to the sampling menu, it's still there, right? So it's just closing, so you can just keep working and still you have the sample right there. So then you have the save. So the save, what we'll do, it will save the sample, but you have a couple ways. So I'm gonna say yes. So yes, it's going to take you to the naming menu, and you need to decide the name for your sample. I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to keep it in rec004. So once you're ready, you say yes, it's going to save it. But before it can move forward, it's going to ask you if you want to assign that sample that you just saved to any of the 1 all the way to the 8 steps. If you don't want to assign it, you can say no and just, it's going to go away. In this case, I'm going to assign it to the number 8. I'm going to go to the number 8 and it says done. And I want you to notice 2 different things. The sample, whatever you sampled, never gets discarded until you do function and no. So you might choose to crop it and, trim it. We're going to do that in a second, and then save different parts of the same sample. Right now we save the whole sample. So if I go to the number 8 and play it, we have the sample right there. All right, so that works. So you have 2 sides, the start and the trim end. And this works just like any sampler. You can trim the start with this one, or, this one trims the end. So this one will, move whatever it is that you're trying to save and it just position you on that way. Now, the thing is that sometimes the sample, it's going to be maybe too long, and it's going to take a lot of scrolling right here just to get maybe to the next one. So what you need to do right here is going to be the zoom. So the zoom is going to let you make it smaller or make it, make it wider. If I make it smaller, I can easily go through, the different, different parts of the sample. If I zoom it, it's going to go slower. So we can just fine tune whatever is that we want to trim. In this case, I'm going to be, recording or saving that. Then we have the same thing, but on the other way. We're going to be trimming the end, and it is super slow. It's going to take me a long time just to get there. So I'm going to go to the zoom, just make it smaller so I can get there. And once I'm there, I'm going to zoom it in so I can decide to crop it on the right spot. Maybe I'm going to just there. Okay, so function. And this is what we are trying to, get from our sampler. All right, so I want this. So to save it, you're going to do yes. Again, we just did this. It's going to kind of put this on the screen and kind of telling you, dude, this is what you want to sample. Are you sure? So you can still make modifications to starting the start and the end, right? But, in this case, it's fine. This is what I want to sample. I want to say yes. And then it's going to ask you, the name. I'm going to say yes. Do I want it to assign it to a track? Yeah, why not? I'm going to do it to the number 2. So now if I go to the number 2, we have it right there. Another thing that you need to notice is that once you assign it to something and you save it, it goes back to having the whole sample. So you can start maybe offsetting or trimming different parts right here, and then, just save different parts of whatever it is that you sampled. So let's say I want to do this. I'm going to say yes. It's going to give me the whole picture. I'm going to say yes. It's going to be the next sample, and I'm going to be assigning it to, I don't know, the number 3. Or whatever, and it's going to be done. So now we have this, it was just what we sampled, the whole thing, and then the whole kit. All right, so that's how you sample and how you trim. Okay, so what if you want to input something? You can connect whatever you want. You can connect a guitar, you can connect a different synthesizer, you can even connect whatever that spits out, So right here at the back, I have a different synthesizer connected. Is a mono poly. Okay, so once standing here, we need to change whatever, we want to listen to. So if I go all the way to the left, it's going to be the input L and the input R. So right now I'm using the L, so I'm going to be choosing the L. I don't need to choose the right, but you can if you want. Now, right now, it says no, and it says mon. This is monitoring, I guess it's monitoring. So this, if it says no, if I play my synthesizer, the one I want to sample, nothing is going to happen. But notice that the audio is coming in, right? Because I'm playing the other synthesizer. Now, if I move this option and say yes, now we can, listen whatever is that we are trying to sample. And this is just, fantastic because maybe I have right here the synthesizer. It's not connected to my recording interface. So just recording it to here, you can listen. You can audition whatever it is that you want to sample. And right here, we can do whatever we want. In this case, I'm going to go to max so we can record the 33 steps. And then you choose arm it, which is going to say yes. And as soon as I play something, it's going to start recording it. All right, so that's it. So when we are done, I'm going to say yes. And we have whatever it is that we are trying to... Whatever it is that we are trying to record. Maybe it's just, a little bit too loud. Okay, so then we have the USB sampling. And it's just like the normal sampling. The only difference is that you do it through USB. Now, I much prefer the input L and the input R because it depends on what you're using on your computer or which computer you're using. Or device. So right here, I'm connected to USB. And right now, I'm recording the screen, not the screen, but I'm recording my voice and everything else is going through the same computer. And there are a few things that you need to know just to record it this way. So first, I'm going to need to go to the settings. Now, when in settings, you need to go all the way to the bottom when it says system. Then you go over there and it says USB config. So this is where we need to stand. So by default, it's overbridge. And if you use overbridge, this is where you need to go, right? So the thing is that it's a little bit different when you use audio USB because this becomes like your main interface. I have no idea what's going to happen because I'm recording, all this. And I'm going to try to connect to make it USB audio. And this is kind of take over your interface. So maybe it's just going to disconnect my voice and everything else. But I'm going to stand right here and then I'm going to be playing some audio. And we are going to be, attempting to record this. So I'm going to say yes. Okay, so when I did yes, my computer is trying to recognize the driver and it's trying to use that driver. So it's kind of it's a little bit weird. So I'm going to go no, and get out of this. And I'm going to go to the sampling. And right here, you need to change your source because now you're working with USB. So I'm going to be using USB L and R, which is left and right. Now, in theory, if I go to my computer and I play something, I should be recording something, or we should be getting something in the back. If I play something in the back, maybe I'm going to go to, the Chrome, the browser. I'm just going to play it back. That is just going right here. And it's just recognizing whatever is that I'm playing it back from my computer. That's just great. Alright, so if we want to sample is the good old-fashioned way, I'm going to stay on max and I'm just going to be doing yes to arm it or function and then sampling. I'm going to do yes. I'm going to sample it. And there you go. And if we play it back, we are just going to be getting it. Right, so really, really cool and really simple. Still, if you have an interface, I much prefer the input L and right. Just get an out from your interface and just do it that way. I think it's just a little bit better. But maybe you don't have an interface that has many outputs, so using the USB is just the best choice that you get. Okay, so that's it. So hopefully you learned something on this one. And remember to like and subscribe if you learned something. And if you have the money and you just maybe want to buy me a coffee, you can go to the links at the description. And you have links for PayPal, you have YouTube thanks, and you have Patreon. Maybe you can be a 1-month patron and just maybe buy me a coffee that way. All right, so see you on the next one.